What's going on, guys? Aaron here on Easy Street, professional driver, amateur human. It's that time again, guys. Our last paycheck has now come out for July. Let's go over the numbers right after the intro. All right, so as you guys know, I kind of struggled a little bit back in June. I actually didn't do the math on either of these, but um, it looks like we are doing a lot better now than we did last month. Uh, and here we go. So I got all my numbers written down here. So last month we had 5 checks in July, 5 pays in July, folks, and we did 11,207 miles. So for reference, that is 2,000, I don't know, like 2,250, 2,300, something like that a week. Revenue for those 5 weeks, just in line haul revenue alone, we did $18,643.81 for a total of $1.67 a mile for the line haul only. Now, the fuel surcharge, we actually got $4,605.18 last month at an average rate of 41.1 cents per mile. I got a couple of detentions. I got a couple other this and that. I actually got a $500 to bobtail because I had to do a trailer shuttle from one market and move into another market, that kind of stuff. So they actually paid me for that. So the total pay, all told, was $26,598.66 for the month of July. Broken down, that comes out to $2.37 a mile, and a little over 5,000 a week average. Now we'll get into why that average sounds low in a little bit. Fuel for the month, pump price. I spent $6,932.23 at the pump, but I got a discount of $1,042.57 for a total of $5,889.66. So gross fuel cost right about 50 cents a mile, but that $1,042.57 actually equates to a 15% discount at the pump. Unreal. Like, I mean, if you think about it, that's taking these $5 plus, and I'm paying what, probably a little over $4 a gallon for what everybody else is paying $5.25 for. My net fuel cost, so that's taking my gross fuel cost there, that $5,889.66, and subtracting out our fuel surcharge of $4,605.18 brings our net fuel cost for 5 weeks to $1,284.48. Now that's not great, but fuel has been trending upward just about the whole month, so fuel surcharge hasn't even been keeping up. But it comes out to 11.4 cents per mile for net fuel cost. Not great. I'm going to see if I can work on getting that number down this month, put more money in my pocket. For DEF this month, pump price, I spent $248.03, but got $73.29 of discount on DEF. So right there, that's like 33% discount. So I paid $174.74 in DEF, which is 1.5 cents per mile. Reefer, after discount, I don't know why I didn't put the calculation in there, but after discount, I spent $891.28 of my own that wasn't reimbursed, because we get the first fuel reimbursed when you pick up a trailer. So that ends up being 8 cents per mile. Now this month, so if you remember last month, I had that $1,000 insurance deductible due to my own mess up. I made a video about it. I talked about it in my numbers review for last month. So I don't need to rehash that. So obviously I didn't have that this month. I didn't hit anything this month. But I did have a couple repairs that I needed to get done um, out of my own pocket. So driving down the road one day, I don't remember if it was a car or a truck or a pickup or whatever, kicked up a rock into my windshield, and it made just the perfect size. Uh, when you include the pit and the crack that radiated from it, it was like um, right at the limit. So they couldn't repair it. They had to replace the whole windshield. Um, and also my quick connect on the back of the truck. So for those that don't know, the way that Prime has it, they have their 3-in-1 with the airlines and the electrical line there um, set up together, and they're held up on springs, but on those springs is a quick connect. So it like wraps around it, and then there's just like a little, I don't know, kind of like your typical, think of, oh gosh, I don't know, like, you wrap it around and then clip it into place. That kind of quick connect. One of those came loose, and my airline, my red airline started dragging on the catwalk. Thankfully, nothing happened. I was, I think, 5 miles from the Manuka terminal, um, and I mean it was chafed pretty good, but it wasn't blown through. I still had my brake or my air supply, so I got that fixed. So, um, by the way, both of these repairs work stupid quick. Um, I wasn't even out of inbound in Pittston, and they were calling me to come get my windshield replaced. Manuka, I think I had to wait 20 minutes, and they called me into the bay, got it fixed, 20 minutes. So, I mean, stupid quick. I didn't have to wait. It wasn't like I was stuck for a day or two waiting on these things. But those equaled $689.67, which was 3.4 cents a mile. Hoping August goes better. No claims, no repairs. I'm hoping for a good clean month here. Um, but then you have all these other miscellaneous expenses, your fuel costs, or not your fuel costs. I already went over that. The tractor and the insurance and all that kind of stuff. I went over what all that is per week last numbers video. So I didn't put it in here again. My total expenses ended up being $18,510.81. I did not put the cent per mile on there. I don't know why, but it looks like somewhere in the ballpark of $1.60 or so a mile. Um, Actually, not even. Um, yeah, maybe about $1.60. So my net to the bank was $8,087.85. Divide that over 5 weeks, that is $1,617.57 a week average to the bank. Um, Also comes out to 72.2 cents per mile. But remember, 10 cents out of every mile goes to my e-fund. So I put $1,120.70 into the e-fund this month, which brings my total net, because that's still my money. I can well, I guess I'd have to wait till probably Monday now because it's the weekend, but I can really ask for this e-fund money basically anytime they'll approve it. It's my money. So that brings my total to $9,207.70, or 82.2 cents per mile. So I know people are going to say, "Oh, I make more elsewhere." Good. I'm happy for you. But I mean, I'm over here 82 cents a mile for an OTR job, and I want to be OTR. This is what I want. So I'm not going to find that as a company driver somewhere as true OTR. But if you think about that, that number is actually brought down because there was one week I took 3.5 days off work. So my next load ended up carrying over. I only took home $300 that week. I got basically a load that covered my expenses. That was it. So I got 3.5 days off midweek there. So I ended up, yeah. So really, if you take out the $300 I took home, that turns out to $8,902.70 for 4 weeks. Because now remember that one week, now we're just Xing out. So for the 4 weeks that I ran full weeks, it turned out to $2,226.93 per week. Still, I mean, it came out to the same net mile, 82.2 cents per mile. So, um, you know, we we're trending in the right direction. I mean, obviously, we're paying our taxes on that. So, I mean, out of that $8,087, unfortunately, about 2,000 of that's gone. Um, so that is what it is. Well, a little over 2,000. I do. Um, Speaking of, I'm gonna have. Um, Actually, I'll just go into it now. I have a new accountant. I have done my taxes in the past. They've gone pretty well. I know my numbers. I know how to figure my numbers. I know what I can and can't write off. Um, but I did the math on it, and it turns out that for me to take the time off to focus on my quarterly taxes with all of my receipts in my hand and scanning them and all that stuff, a couple of days every quarter, um, plus a few days at the end of the year to reconcile everything, file the yearly or the annual return. Um, it, it I've found an accountant who is basically a one-stop shop. She knows a lot about trucking. She worked for a trucking accounting firm um, prior to going off on her own, and um, so her fee per month. Now I have the highest tier, so it is literally hands off. Like aside from snapping a picture and sending her a text of my receipts, um, I added her to my email, so Prime automatically sends her a copy, or not email, to my payroll. So Prime automatically sends her a copy of my settlement every week. Um, it for I pay $200 a month for that. Now, that is a completely hands off to the point where in order to make life easier, um, in order to make life easier, she actually will every week she'll call and say, "Hey, your estimated quarterly tax will be this much, or your estimated tax to the IRS based on this week's income will be this. Do you authorize us to send it?" She will pay the tax every single week. So, like right there, I said that's about $2,000. Now you add in the first month. I'm looking, let's see, my net. So I'm looking at about $1,000 there. There's $3,000, and we still got another month to go. If I have another month where I'm going to owe $2,000, it's going to be a lot easier for me to come up with that in chunks of a few $100s rather than um, coming up with 5,000 or making sure that I save that 5,000 um, for the end of the quarter to just pay it off. Not to mention, my bank actually has a limit, and I have a limit of, I think it's $5,000 a day, $20,000 a month that I can use to go out for account payable. So it's easier just to do it this way where I'm not missing the money. The money poof, comes out of my account. I think it's dated for Monday because our settlements come in real late. But if you guys want her information, let me know. She's currently taking on new clients. I will let you know if that changes. I do want to give a huge shout out to KMac. I don't know if he'll be in my comments or not, but KMac was the one who introduced me to her. She's hired, she's on board, and we are working together now. So I don't get any kickbacks. So I don't care if you say I referred you or not. But if you want her information, let me know, and I will reach out and see how many she's willing to take. So until next time, guys, look past the junk in life. Everything is beautiful. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Stay safe out there.